All right, Joe, we're going to move along here to our next one. I think it might be the Joe Moore Award. Very quickly on the offensive line award, the Joe Moore Award here. What did I text you this morning? Before everybody starts labeling me that I am very biased, what did I do?
You said pick either LSU or Georgia, and I picked Georgia, so I thought, let's give Blake LSU so that you don't piss off your fans. I got to give you one.
All right. Well, you give me two because we're going to talk about Blake Baker here too.
Yeah, that's a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. Here we go. Look, I look at this offensive line room, and I'm going to be real with you. Okay, just because I have fandom is not going to change anything here for me. If at the end of the year Georgia is sitting up there and they're the best offensive line, they're the Joe Moore Award winners, not going to say anything. I'm going to make another argument. If it's Oklahoma State, I'm not going to say anything either because I think that they got dudes that can play. You're not going to like it, but I think they got some guys that can play.
You lost me on Oklahoma State.
Regardless. Joe, they're top 3-4 offensive line. They're going to have a back in Ollie Gordon that's going to make them look really good. Pick a couple of them. I don't know. Well, I'm going to leave that one alone. Regardless, I look at LSU as the best offensive line in the country in the current moment based off of what they have at tackle. Joe, here's an interesting stat. No team that's had an offensive line that has combined for over 100 starts together. Okay, over 100 starts together, or over 100 starts total in their career, meaning combined. None of those teams that have had an offensive line like that has missed the playoffs ever. And when you talk about offensive line play, you got to talk about camaraderie and being together as one, knowing what the guy next to you is going to do. Joe, you're going in year 3 with the same exact core nucleus along that offensive line for Brian Kelly, who, by the way, man, is about to run the football. What you saw with Jane Daniels a year ago is not going to happen like that. They are going to line up and run the rock, and they're going to lean on teams. Look, Will Campbell should be my answer, but the entire unit as a whole has been very fantastic so far.
I think
even in seeing them.
There's two ways that you can always answer this question on who's going to win the Joe Moore Award for best offensive line. It's either going to be the team that has the best talent at the top, like the best two guys.
Like which Alabama has won multiple times because they've had both.
Or the team that has just the best collective unit. I think LSU fits the first category. Georgia fits the second. So LSU fits the category of having two potential first-rounders in Emory Jones and Will Campbell. And you mentioned they've played so much football together that there is a chemistry established that is going to help bolster the guys in the interior. But you're anchored at the two most important spots of the offensive line with two of the best players at their respective positions in the country. So I don't have any problem with this pick. Georgia, my selection, fits the other category of Tate Ratledge is the premier guy, in my opinion. I think that it's a strong enough group, though, collectively, and they've played so much football together, especially last year, going through all the bumps that they had with the injuries that they did and not having Amarius Mims consistently. I think that Ernest Green, who is more projectable as a guard who's playing left tackle for them, is a budding and improving player for that offensive line. There is a lot of upside for this O-line, but I just kind of come back to the fact that from tackle to tackle, they're just really consistent. They average out to be a really good offensive line. And you were making the point earlier, they're going to run the ball really well. They're going to make that offense look really good like they did last year.
Said Van Pran not being there, I think is a big deal. Okay, when you
the kid replacing him's been hyped up a ton. I forget his name.
Yeah, I agree. But, Joe, every time you replace the center, look, man, I mean, here's a hot take. You're going to hate this one. You ready? I could see some struggle early. When you replace and you have a young center, that Clemson's got a really good defensive line. You cannot ignore that.
Jared Wilson's the kid, by the way.
Okay. I could see some early hiccups, like some early struggles, but I think they're going to lean on teams. And for that alone, I love your pick, man. Give me whichever one. I love the pick. I think you are sleeping on Oklahoma State. I do.
There's
Joe, hold on.
None of those guys are going in the top 150 of the upcoming draft. That does matter.
No, it doesn't. Joe, who was the 2019 Joe Moore Award winner?
I don't remember that far back.
Okay. Neither one of those guys were drafted in the top premier of 150.
Wait, what team was it?
LSU.
Oh, wait. I probably should have known that. Wait,
yeah,
no. Wait. No. Where was Cushenberry picked?
Oh, you said top 150. Yeah, well, Cushenberry was in there. Damian Martinez was a 6th-round pick. Other guys, one retired. Sadiq Charles. Anyway, nevertheless, Joe, you can't have a running back that ran for 1,700 yards and you not dominate at times if you're Oklahoma State. You get that, right? You understand that, correct?
I get that, and I watched Gordon's film, and I think that this is the perfect example of a kid who made his team look a lot better than it was.
You don't run for 1,700 yards.
I'm not saying it's a bad unit, but I wouldn't put it in the top 5.
He made them. So some of the gaping holes where he's going untouched, yeah, he made them. You're right.
It's also it's also a lot of scheme. Chuba Hubbard was extremely productive a couple of years ago. Hasn't done a lick in the NFL. Now Ollie Gordon
What does that have anything to do with it?
It has everything to do with it because wait. It has everything to do with it because Gundy's scheme opens up ridiculously wide rushing lanes for running backs to run through.
And they're executing it then.
If you have lipstick on a pig all of the time.
Okay.
They're one of the better Big 12 offensive lines. That is a compliment. That's a compliment.
1,700 yards.
They're not they're not going to be the best in the country. There's no way.
Did I pick them? Did I say that
you just said that they would be right there?
What did I say? I said
you implied that they'd be at least top 5.
No. Yeah, they will be. They will be.
Not ahead of Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, Miami, Florida State.
You can't pick Alabama right now when they led the country in sacks given up.
One guy went on to the NFL, and most of those guys come back.
Okay. So you mean to tell me that you are going to mention a team that gave up that many sacks last year and Caden Proctor look as bad as
they got better at center. And they got better at center with Parker Brailsford.
Okay. Hey, what was your takes on Alabama last year? Their offensive line, what now? What was it?
Teams can get better. We said Texas's secondary stunk, and you know what I'm saying? They're going to get better because they were young. This video is sponsored by the online fitness training camp presented by Chris Gates Fitness. When I first started talking about Chris, about partnering with our show, not only was I excited to have a fitness sponsor for our pod, but more importantly, when I found out about how he can help people achieve their goals, I was even more bought in because when the football season starts, it is so tough to stay on top of things and also to be able to enjoy yourself on Saturdays when it's game day. With Chris Gates Fitness's online training camp, you're going to be able to effectively stay focused, consistent, burn fat, build muscle, and do it with a like-minded community of individuals working towards the same thing. On top of this, you're going to be able to get direct coaching from Chris and the ability to ask him questions with an access to a live Q&A where you can get direct personalized support from Chris himself. Don't wait any longer. If you're trying to get in shape during this fall and you want to be able to do it with the right support system, head on over to chrisgatesfitness.com/training camp or click the link in the description. And you need to do it today because you can get the first month. Personal training is expensive, folks. The first month for only $10 when you use that code RuffinoJoe. Don't wait any longer. Head on over there. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.